In this video, I'm going to demonstrate two of the ways that I like to make pom-poms. The first method is called the hand method. For this, you will need yarn, scissors, and your hand. Now, this makes quick and easy pom-poms, but the downside is that the width of your hand determines the size of your pom-pom. And I guess you could change it depending on where you would wrap it on your hand and how many fingers you might use, but if you need a specific size, use method 2. So what you do is you just take this yarn and you wrap it around the palm of your hand a couple of times. Now, how much yarn you put on your hand will determine the thickness and the fullness of the pom-pom, so just make sure you get enough on there just to make it look nice. Okay, that's about right. And you cut the end of your yarn off so it's just all connected to your hand. Now you can if you want, just go ahead and, well, let's tie it. We'll tie just this first part. Just slip the yarn in there and you just tie some of it off. This might be difficult to do, so you might need some help to do it, this part, but okay, you get this. Now you just cut one end. Be careful not to cut yourself. And you just go through and you cut it, and it should still be connected like that. Now, I do it that way so they don't all just come off. Now what you do is you just take it and you just wrap it. I'll just wrap it around here. Just take some yarn, stretch off a piece, and just wrap it around there. And now cut off this piece so it's free on that side, and now you tie these together. You don't have to do that last step. I just do it so all the pieces don't come flying apart everywhere. That way, if you're working in a windy spot like I am, I have a fan on, and the fan sometimes blows all the strands of whatever I'm working on away, so you just tie it nice and tight. Okay. And now you just go back in and you cut off the other end of the pom-pom. And now you just go back, getting your loose pieces off and secure it nice and tight. And a good thing to do, if you tie it one way, just move the strands around so you can tie it the other way, just to make it extra secure. Looks like one of those pom-poms you'd see on slippers. They're not perfectly symmetrical. And you just get a basic, quick pom-pom. You can take your scissors and just go, you see how it's a little long right here, you just go back in and give it a little haircut. And we still have some strands that are together there. There we go. Basic, simple pom-pom, but it's not as pretty as when you do method 2. The next method to making pom-poms is called the cardboard method. For this, you need 2 thick, identical pieces of cardboard, some scissors, some yarn, And something that's circular in shape, you have to make sure that it can fit onto the cardboard easily, and you have to take note that the diameter of your circular object is going to determine the size of your pom-pom. So what you do is you just pick whatever you have, I use a CD in this case, on top of your cardboard, and you just make a circle with the marker around it. Try to be as accurate as you can. Since you're using cardboard, it might get a little wavy. Just go back over it really well. Okay. There we go. Now what you can do is just make like a circle. This part doesn't really matter. You can just eyeball it, or you can use something else. I've always eyeballed it since I've had a good eye for shapes. That looks pretty much right in the middle. I did that perfectly almost. Okay, and you can either just leave it like that or just highlight it all in like that. Okay. Next, you just want to take your scissors and cut out this shape. Okay, we now cut out the shape. Now you need to cut out all of this blue part. To do that, just go in and make one cut straight through the middle, turn it a little bit, and make another cut. Something sort of like that. So you can just get in and start cutting away at the middle. This part may take some time, as you don't want to bend your cardboard too much. So don't fold this in half to cut out the middle, because it might make assembling the pom-pom a little harder. So this is pretty good. Okay, so now you just want to do the exact same thing on your second piece of cardboard, and it might just be easier just to go ahead and let's trim this part up a little bit. You can see it's a little uneven right here, and just snip this part off, something like that. And now you can just go back and trace around this part. Get the inside part. So you have something like that, and just cut that shape out. Okay, so now we have our two shapes. We still need the scissors, and we still need our yarn. So what you do is you just put the two pieces of cardboard together, like so, or however you want. You can see the middles are kind of the same. That's not that important. The real important part is the outside. So what you do is you just take the yarn, you just drape it through, and you want to just wind it all up. You can see it's starting to go right on there. You just want to fill up the whole thing with as much yarn as you can. You want it to go all the way around. It's one side done. And it doesn't matter if it crosses through, don't worry about that. And you can see it's not quite full, so what you just do is you take it and you just squinch it all up, because you want this to be really covered well. So try to fill in all the gaps as best as you can. Depending on the size of whatever you traced, you're gonna need a lot of yarn. Like for the CDs, it takes quite a bit of yarn to make a full-size pom-pom. So now you can see that I've covered this with a good amount of yarn. And what you want to do is just snip it off with the scissors. Just cut the excess yarn off. Okay. Now you should have a space that's big enough for your thumb to fit in. And you want to just go around in between these two pieces of cardboard and cut the yarn. Depending on how sharp your scissors are, this might take some time. So you just go through and you just cut away. Okay, now I've cut about halfway around, and what you want to do is just make sure none of them fall out, none of the cut pieces fall out, and just try to turn it around so you can just cut the other way. And just continue to cut. Okay, I've cut all the way around the pieces of cardboard, and I have all these little strips of yarn. So what you want to do now is take another piece of yarn, a long piece, and you want to put the piece of yarn in between these pieces of cardboard, and you'll be able to pull it all the way around just to the entrance point where your thumb should be. Once it's like that, you want to try and tie a knot in it. And gently slide out your thumb and tie a really tight knot. And you can just pop off the cardboard like that. Now look at your piece. You want to try to get all the stray yarn off of the yarn you used to tie it together. You want to pull this really, really tight. And since one is going like that, you just want to make the other one go through these just to make it extra secure. Try to move as many pieces out of the way as you can and just tie it that way. Just try to make it all flat before you tie it so it won't look all bunched up on one side. Just tie it once and it should lock in place then, but I also tied a second time just in case. Just tie it once more really tight. You want to basically just tie it until you can't feel the yarn slip anymore. Okay, and you get something like this. Now you just take the end pieces and you just shake it so that it doesn't look tight together, and you get something like this. Now just take your scissors, cut off the shortest side of the yarn that you use to tie the pieces of yarn together, just cut that one off. And you can just cut this one up here so you can work with it a little better. Shake it around a little bit more, just so as you turn it around, you're able to see where any long pieces are. Like this piece is a little long, and this piece right there. There you have it. I really like this method because the pom-poms are a little fuller and they look a lot nicer. Now that you know how to make your pom-poms, you can take them and attach them to whatever you want, like a nice hat, or some people put them on sweaters or scarves, whatever you like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and the next tutorial I have up will be about making tassels. So look for that if you really like this tutorial.